Guys, welcome to the Realm of Pages. I hope you are doing great, and if you're not, I hope you're soon. So, today I finished The Bonehunters, the sixth book of Malazan, Book of the Fallen, and it's a special feeling. This is my first read through. It's a special, special feeling, and I'm gonna give you a raw, unprepared, 100% genuine review, my take on it. This is not practice, this is not rehearsed. I'm going to start by doing a spoiler free review for the first part, and then I'm going to tell you when there are going to be spoilers, and I'm going to do some spoilers. So that's how it's going to be planned, basically. And I have no idea what I'm going to talk about, but let's talk about it. Having finished this book, for a spoiler-free review, I would say that this is a 10 out of 10 for me. In my book, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. This was a fantastic experience. And in a way, I've read and heard about that a lot of people see Malazan Book of the Fallen as a series that you can split into two parts. There's the first part that's 1 to 5, and then there's the second part that's 6 to 10. Because the first part kind of gets everything going in different places, because there are 3 different continents where stuff starts. 1, 2, and 5 are basically fresh starts, and books 6 to 10 kind of tie everything together. And in a way, this feels like the ending of the first 5 books, in a way, when you're reading it, and in a way it feels like the beginning of the second part of the series, because it does feel like an end and like a beginning at the same time. It's hard to explain. This is a fantastic journey. This is so much fun, so stimulating to read, so delightful, and it just builds upon everything. Just like Erickson does. If you read the previous books, 1 to 5, it just keeps building on these things, and I'm just appalled. Like, how can you continue being so good and build upon what you taught us or showed us earlier, and just continue making it at least as good as before, and sometimes even better in certain areas. And he always manages to surprise me, Steven Erickson. I'm always surprised. So I couldn't be happier with this book, but it gets a 10 out of 10, and it's not number one of the Malazan books I've read this far. I'm a bit unconventional. I'm still pretty sure that Gardens of the Moon is my favorite of all time, and a second, very close second, is Midnight Tides. But this is a fantastic book. This is a 10 out of 10 for me, and it just has everything. It has a lot of the silliness, a lot of the funny stuff, a lot of these, I think, an abundance of funny, silly kind of characters and pets and weird creatures. But it also has a lot of serious things that kind of break your heart. There are a lot of heartbreaking moments, and a lot of action, and a good mix of everything. I also have to say, keeping it spoiler free, I'm a huge fan this far of reading the Esselmont novels in between. I've only read one, but between Midnight Tides and The Bonehunters, I read Night of Knives. And that, for me, a lot of people say, like, oh, you get to learn some stuff. It's good. There's some information, but it's not necessary. Like, for me, there were so many moments, especially in the beginning, and like the beginning and the end, basically. I'm going to say it like that. There were so many parts where it just blew my mind that, oh shit, this is from Night of Knives. Like, I had not understood this if it wasn't for Night of Knives. There were so many times. So having finished this, I feel like for me, Night of Knives is always going to be a must read before I read this. Like, this is not a book you read without reading Night of Knives before. That's my opinion. I have a strong opinion about that, because it's such a quick read. It's such a short read, and for the amount of time you put into it. I also feel like the Esselmont books this far, I only read one, but it's easier to read. So the average amount of words per week that I read is much higher than Erickson, even compared to the Erickson books that I read the quickest, which was Memories of Ice. And when it comes to that as well, how quick I read a book, it's not always an indication of how much I like it. but it kind of is. It's not a causation, but it is a correlation, and I do measure that, and the Bonehunters is up there with Memories of Ice, like really close. So I think it's the second one in Book of the Fallen. So Memories of Ice was definitely my quickest, and this is the second one. So I only have good things to say. You know, you get to, I don't want to spoil stuff, but you get to experience some things that are just fantastic and scary at the same time, and some things that I never thought that I would experience, especially some characters. I was like, no, this is probably never gonna like happen in a different way, and then it does, and just, you know, some things just feel so disgusting and messed up, but in a good way, because, you know, it's part of the story. So yeah, he's a real master, and this is my spoiler-free review. This is reaching the end of the spoiler-free review. A real master, and I don't even know what to say. Like, but if I'm gonna, it's hard to give it a minus because it has so many pluses. It's hard to give it a minus. Let's see if I try to do that in a spoiler-free spoiler part. But I don't even know if I can give it a minus at all. Okay, if I'm gonna give it one minus as spoiler-free, I would say that, okay, it kind of feels, when you finish this book, since it feels like a beginning, end, and end, it feels like the end of the first part of the series in a way, but it feels like the beginning of the second part of the series. It kind of feels like it's a bit transitional. You know, things are happening. Definitely things are happening. There are so many highlights in this book. I think it might have the most highlights of any books, like big events and convergences. But at the same time, it feels like a transition for me. And that's like, that's not a minus, that's a necessary thing, but that's the only thing that I can find, that because this really doesn't feel like a standalone book. This is really starting to feel like a series now. The other books felt very standalone, 1 through 5, but this feels like it has a different feel because of that, because everything is just coming in together. All of the continent stories basically are coming together in this one. And, you know, the rest of the series, 7 to 10, everything is just going to continue like this. It's a linear thing, time-wise, at last, but they are all in different places, kind of, it seems like. I don't know, but I think that's how it is. So, yeah, fantastic. Spoiler-free review. If you have read Malazan, you know, if you just want to read Malazan or interested in this book, I highly recommend it, 10 out of 10. If you've read Malazan 1 through 5 and you just want to have a spoiler-free review, like, is this good, is it bad? This is way up there. For me, almost all of them are 10 out of 10. For me, the only exception is Dead House Gates, which gets like a 9.2, something like that. It's still an amazing and excellent book, but, you know, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 are like 10 out of 10, and then I rank those, you know, as well. But it's just, I cannot recommend this enough. It's such a great experience. Okay, spoilers. So all of you people who don't want things to be spoiled, you can avoid that by clicking off. But before you do, remember to subscribe to my channel. So smash that button. I have so many YouTube shorts on this channel. So if you want to check it out, I'm having like educational stuff, philosophy stuff, random information. I have a lot of stuff coming up too. So check out my channel. It's going to be like a library of Malazan information about the world, about animals, about races. All of that is coming. I'm announcing it right now. Warrens, I'm going to do like different video series on basically everything you can imagine. So stay tuned for that. There's going to be a lot of Malazan for the rest of 2025. And you do want to become a subscriber, support the channel by just showing your support. You know, just like an elder god, I'm not requiring any blood. I'm just requiring you to subscribe, stay tuned, support the channel. So that was basically it. That was my little pitch, and let's get to the spoiler review. It's not easy to be this spontaneous. You know, I just sat down this evening and started talking. So I'm gonna try to review this book with spoilers and tell you what I thought, for those of you who have read it. So please don't listen to this if you haven't read this. Please don't. Where do I start? I'm gonna try to start from the beginning. Okay, the prologue of this book was so hilarious. I love Hellion. Hellion is so adorable and cute. She's such a cute alcoholic. The prologue of this was really good. One of my favorite prologues from Malazan Book of the Fallen, definitely. You have that, you have the Barathol part, and you have the Dejim Nebral part. That was really well executed, really well done. And then the book gets going. You have the Apocalypse, soldiers of the Apocalypse going to Iratan. You have Karsa doing his thing where, he's found by this witch and fucking fights a dinosaur in a castle. It's insane. I think it's a short tale, right? Kchen Naruk. I think it's one of those that he just fist fights. He throws away his sword. That's so crazy. I love that part. How does it start off? And then you have Apsalar meeting Teleras and Kurtle. You had these dragons that were chained in the realm of shadow. We never got to know more about them. I'm curious about those. And what more do we have? Oh, we have the party with Heboric, Grey Frog, Silara, Fellison, Younger, and Cutter. And that's good too. And things get moving. And things are great in this book. I love the way, throughout the series that Amenas and Cotillion have kind of gone from being villains to they're kind of sweet in a way, but they're kind of crazy. And I don't really understand what they're doing. I'm still wondering, what the fuck? Why did they massacre a lot of people in the first book? Am I ever going to get an answer to that? I don't know. But it's just weird because I can't see them doing that now. But yeah, there's so much good stuff here. I don't even know where to start, but I think I'm going to jump. Okay. The first big event was Iratan, and it was just traumatizing. It's like, okay, shit's going to burn up. What the fuck? And then they have this whole crawling part. I wrote a song about that. You can check it out on my channel. That part was kind of traumatizing, but really well written. I did enjoy that. And then I felt like, okay, this was the event of the book, right? So we're going to wind down for the rest of the book, and it's going to be real chill. And I'm going to learn some stuff about the world, and that's going to be it. Why is there a map of Malaz City here? I had no idea. I was wondering. Because, sometimes, guys, the maps in these books are whack. They're not relevant. Like the Seven Cities map. Guys, the Seven Cities map is it needs to be zoomed the fuck out. It only covers half of the stuff we see. So I was like, why do we have a Malaz City map? This sucks. This is unnecessary. Lo and behold, I had no idea what's going to happen. So then the book continues. Everything is awesome and interesting. We find out that Teleras and Kurtle are dragons, which is super important. And then you have this whole Heboric thing where everything is happening at the same time, of course. But the next really, really big event was the plague stuff, of course. Parents just absolutely epic with this Master of the Deck stuff. That was awesome. Do you catch gods with Oteteril? I don't know, but he seems to have done that. I also noticed that Tavor got healed by her Oteteril sword at the end of the book. So that's also a question I have. Okay. But I don't want you to answer them, guys. I'm just wondering. Let me keep those mysteries until I saw them or not. So that was interesting. That was really well done. And that was also a big event, the parent thing with the Palail and the whole timing of getting the Daragoth and the Hounds of Shadow out. And first they kind of killed Dejim Nebral, and then they went after Palail and killed the last Dejim Nebral. It seems like I still don't understand the connection. I love the reveal of the statues, the Daragoth come out of the statues. They can also unite with the Hounds of Shadow, but they don't want to. I don't know. I think I'm going to find out. I'm really enjoying that. The way that was done with the Bridge of Death, the Jaghut Bridge of Death. I'm going to say the name of it too. Verdith Anath. The Bridge of Death, Jaghut Underworld. That was really cool. I enjoyed that. So much I enjoyed about that. So I'm very curious about that. I have so many questions, guys. I have so many questions. Maybe that's why this book felt like a transition. So yeah, and I was so curious. I'm still curious about Grub. There's probably going to be a reveal sometime soon because there's something about Grub. He's not just a regular kindergarten child. I did enjoy Tiamber. I thought she was like Trake's mortal sword or something, number 2, but it seems like, you know, it was the aerosol, so that was interesting. So getting back to the story, the Polay thing happened. That was really epic. Quick Band's sister. That was really cool and fast paced. And the third big event, if I remember correctly, the third really big event, like really, really big event, was the Heboric thing where, you know, Heboric, that was really rough on me. I think it was chapter 12. I even posted it, like he got cut up. I thought everyone died, except for maybe Grey Frog and Fellison Younger. But it seems like everyone survived but Heboric. So it kind of lessened the blow, but it was still heavy. It was still heavy and tough. And, you know, the thing about Fellison being carried away, she thinks everyone's taken away from her. She turns into a weird, like, I don't know, plague queen. But then Pulail dies, so she kind of becomes lazy and complacent. That was super sad, but I was happy when Cutter was healed. I like that village vibe, that village thing. That whole village thing was pretty cool. And the whole way that the Heboric, Barathol's cool too. The whole way that the Heboric storyline converges, I guess. We're gonna use that word a lot because it's very Ericksonian. That was very unexpected for me. I was like, okay. I'm not really getting this. Why are they taking his remains there? And then I kind of start understanding it, and I was very moved by the end of it because I really felt like Heboric's end was going to be when he was cut up. That was going to be the reflection. Like he was not enough. He always messed things up, and I thought that was the end of it. I thought that was the point of his story, that it is sometimes futile and pointless. And, you know, he never actually made any difference. That at least those were his thoughts when he died. And when this happened, there was just something in me that was really moved, guys, because, you know, it tells you that even if you're a total failure for all of your life and you think you'll always be, you have no idea. You might save the world. And there was something so beautiful about that touched me and moved me. It also comes from a personal story, from a person I know, I think, that has not really made the best choices in life. So, you know, maybe it was a weak moment and a bias there, but it was beautifully done. It was beautifully executed, and that whole scene is like a movie, man, with the ships and Spite becoming a dragon and, you know, saving these people. I'm also wondering about Envy and Spite. Like, what's their beef? They both seem to be kind of as weird and kind of good, but kind of not good and super powerful at the same time. But I have no idea what their motives are. What's up with Iskarl Puss Mule? His mule. And I also loved how he was like fucking begging for Mogora to give him some kunchi. And then once everything is good, he's like, "Fuck you." He gets like a kind of post nut clarity. What do you call it? Post, like, I thought I was gonna die clarity, because he's insulting her. He was like, that I could sink that low. I would never touch you. You're disgusting. That was so funny. There's so many funny things. Teleras and Curl are so funny. I love them. And Grey Frog. Love Grey Frog. And yeah, it's pretty sad that he had to leave with Lorik. I wonder what they're up to. Grey Frog, Teleras, and Curdle, I would adopt them as pets. Probably not the best pets to have, but I still would. I like them. So that kind of broke my heart. And then after that, okay, we had Iratan, we had the whole Polave thing with Dujek, one arm dying, and the plague, etc. And now we had the Jade Hands thing, which is still kind of a mystery to me. I wonder what it was, but I guess he was a shield anvil of Trake. Kind of, but what does that even have to do with Trake? Why would Trake care about all these like godlike beings or whatever it was falling down like comets? Like, that's so confusing. But whatever, he's a shield anvil, I guess, Heboric, before he dies. And then I'm like, okay, now we're pretty far into the book. Now we're going to wind down for the rest of the book and just have a jolly good time. You know, we're going to hang out at a tavern and, you know, get to know some characters and go on some small quests. Hell no. Ericsson's like, hey, hold my beer. I have the most stressful event ever, and I'm gonna take you to the worst place in the world. Because if you ask me, the worst place in the world that you can go to is Malaz City. I fucking hate that place. I love reading about it, but I hate it at the same time. I love reading about the action going on there, but it's always like an anxious, bad time when you're there. It's always bad weather, it's always shitty people, and it's always like very stressful to be there. Let me know if you're with me, guys. Like, it's stressful. Whenever we're in Malaz City, my heart rate is up, like, constantly. It doesn't matter what's happening, especially after Night of Knives. Like, bro, that place, there's no chill in that place, okay? There's no chilling there. There's no, like, we're not retiring and going to Malaz City, guys. Fuck that shit. Fuck that place, okay? Fuck that place. Why do people go there? Like, it's always bad when you go there. Anyways, that convergence, that ending is just incredible, and the way that is weaved at the same time as the throne. So you have two convergence scenes basically, and the throne room war is, oh my lord, that was like anime. All of this was anime. Like, the ending was like anime level crazy, and I was screaming and shouting and like, what the hell. So many cool things, so many amazing things, and I'm a little annoyed that Ikariam is always like gimmicked to being defeated, except for Karsa. Karsa actually beat him, but then he was gimmicked. But the aerosol's just like... but it was cool. It was cool. I did really enjoy it, and I also think it's sad that one of the Talanimas was revived. Ibra Golan, I think, but Monok Ochem was kind of turned into, he melted into the throne, which is weird. So I guess the aerosol didn't heal everyone, and definitely didn't heal the children that died, which was a shame too. But it was just a really cool experience. I was not expecting, after all the things that happened, there are going to be two concurrent epic scenes and epic convergences. So now I'm kind of wondering, okay, maybe that's why Kellanved... Okay, the Throne of Shadow is very valuable if Kellanved used that as a distraction to lead them to the first throne of the Talanimas. But they needed to protect that too. So I wonder what power that has. Maybe it's just uniting Corral and Emerlon. I have no idea. Please don't answer my questions, guys. I don't want to spoil. I'm just thinking, these are my thoughts, having read the book. And what the fuck? Okay, back in Malaz City, when Stormy gives back Lagana Breed his sword, Lagana Breed calls Stormy Shield Anvil, and it was never clarified whose Shield Anvil, but we will see, I guess. So that's super interesting to me too. So that was basically it. Just some, this is not even a review. This is just my thoughts about the book. So I would say this is a spoiler-free review, and then kind of a, I don't know, spoiler review and thoughts and questions that this book gave me. What more? I have some notes here, actually, that I wrote. I wrote these notes to make other videos, but I'm reading from them now, because why not? No, that was basically... Oh yeah, one more thing. I love how this book clarifies some things that were in other books and expands on them. For example, the way that it's kind of casually revealed that Hood played a part in Whiskey Jack dying. That was fantastic. Like a small little note, but it told me everything I needed to know. Basically, it was a whole thing about his sister, and Hood kind of made it so that Whiskey Jack was not healed. And that kind of caused the whole thing. That was so fantastic. And, just things like that, or that small reveal about, when Alrada talks about Blue Rose, and you get to see this lower reveal from this temple or whatever it is with the paintings, and you kind of see this reveal of events that were part of the prologue of Midnight Tides, and you understand a lot more because that's closer to the truth than the Tista Eaters bullshit religion, philosophy, wherever they had. So that was also really interesting. How these things are just casually mentioned, but they're huge, they're massive, and I love how you are just drip fed that kind of information. That is fantastic. And yeah, there were no Utulus in this book, unfortunately, but you know, you can't always have Utulus, unfortunately. You know, let's see if they return for book 7. What more do I have to say? Yeah, I think that was it, guys. Those were my thoughts having finished the book. I feel kind of... One more thing, the Deck of Dragons readings are amazing and awesome, and I hope they continue. Because the way he does them is like, you don't know enough, but you know a little bit to understand some things, but you're still not sure if you know it. So just so much to love here, so much to appreciate. There are like 4 different big events, and the 4th one is actually 2 different things happening at 2 different places, but they're a little bit connected still. This is just fantastic, and you know, a really good ending of this book. And I would say of the first 5 books, kind of this is kind of ending them by putting them together, and starting the second half of the series by putting them together. So it's a beginning and it's also an end. And you know, I love this book. I love the Bonehunters, and I can't wait to start reading Reaper's Gale. I actually think I'm gonna press stop in a couple of minutes, and then I'm gonna start reading Reaper's Gale right now as I'm like saying this right now. So I'll probably upload the video like later after I've read a couple of pages. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. And yeah, I would have wanted a better zoomed out map of 7 cities. I also would have wanted a better character index, because there was a lot of characters that were missing in this book. And I don't know if that was, maybe that was intentional to not spoil it, but I do mark stuff, guys, okay? I mark when I've seen a character, I mark when I heard about a character. If I haven't seen them, I write notes. As you can see, it's important to me. It's like my notebook. So that one was not as good as in other books in this one. But I do have to say the glossary was good. So the glossary in this book was really good, one of the best ones. You have like, you know, terms for different things. You have geography, people's places. You have words. You have races. You have the tarot stuff or Deck of Dragons stuff. And you have the Ascendants, which is not the case for Reaper's Gale, because I actually checked the book and I was quite disappointed in the glossary in that. So yeah, but that character index was better. So I guess you can't always have everything. So that was my little review, spoiler-free review, and then a kind of spoiler review, thoughts, sharing what I liked and didn't like. Was there anything I didn't like? I think this, I actually think this Malazan book, if you just look at it, the pluses and minuses, this one has the least minuses. This is not my number 1 Malazan book, because I just don't feel like that right now, but it's a 10 out of 10. It's a obvious 10 out of 10, 5 stars, but it probably has the least minuses. If I'm going to be like objective on the paper, it has the least minuses. So I have to give it that. This is just such a brilliant work of art, and I kind of feel strange having finished it. I kind of feel empty and a little bit sad having finished it, because I read it for 9 weeks. I read pretty slow, but at the same time, I'm super motivated, super excited to read Reaper's Gale, because I want to continue. So I'm going to read Reaper's Gale. After that, I'm probably going to jump to the ice books, like maybe Crimson Guard and Stonewheeler. We'll see. But right now, I'm jumping from this to Reaper's Gale. I'm super duper excited. And we're getting close to 30 minutes now, so I'm going to say goodbye for now. And yeah, that's going to be it, guys. Thank you for listening. If you listened this far, you're tolerating my crazy ass, and I thank you for that. Remember to give a like to the video if you want me to do more of this stuff. Comment your thoughts, and you know, if you reacted on anything I said, let me know what you think. Please share your opinion. Don't spoil anything for me though, please. And remember to smash that subscribe button. Smash it so hard that you get a critical hit. Smash it so hard that you create a Warren. That was it, guys. Take care of yourselves. Have a fantastic day, and stay tuned for more.